This is lesson 12.4, and we are going to be describing the sides of polygons. All right, so the first question says, look at this polygon and how many pairs of sides you see that are parallel. All right, so down below we're going to learn some vocabulary first before we go ahead and answer that question. Okay, so first we have intersecting lines. And these are lines that cross or meet. So they make an X, they intersect. Okay? The next one says that intersecting lines that cross or meet to form right angles are perpendicular. So if you noticed here in the corner, they have that half square, that square that shows that there is a right angle. So intersecting lines that meet or cross to form right angles are perpendicular lines. All right, the last one that we have are parallel lines, and these are lines that never cross or meet, and they are always the same distance apart. They do not form any angles. Okay, so going back up to the top here, it says, look at this polygon, how many pairs of sides are parallel? Okay. So this side here would be parallel to this side. These two lines do not cross. They do not form any angles, and they are the same distance apart. Okay. All right, over here it's asking, how do you know that this shape here is a polygon? If I remember from the lesson before, remember that for it to be a polygon, it has to be a closed shape. And it also needs to have line segments that meet at endpoints. So that is what I would write here. I would write it as a closed shape made up of line segments that meet only at their endpoints. Okay, so I went ahead and filled that answer in. Okay? All right, so over here on the right side of your paper, we have an example for each one of our vocabulary words. So this one says the orange and the blue line are line segments and they meet to form an angle. So they are intersecting lines. It's just showing examples of each vocabulary word. So this one would be intersecting. This one is talking about perpendicular lines. Here in the corner, they make a right angle. So those would be perpendicular. And the last one, the blue and the green, those would be parallel lines. They never cross or meet, and they are always the same distance apart. They do not make or form any angles. These are parallel lines. So if they're not already filled in for you, you can go back and write each one. So intersecting, perpendicular, and parallel. All right, so I went through and added our vocabulary, and then this question was referring to our polygon up above. And again, we counted we counted one pair of parallel sides. So I went ahead and answered the question down below. The polygon up above has one pair of parallel sides. All right, the next page we are going to, if you'd like, you can draw a polygon and you can go back to the page before and you can find intersecting lines, perpendicular, and parallel. Okay, I'm going to skip down to this question here for number one. It says, which sides appear to be parallel? So we are going to find the sides that are going to be parallel with each other. Remember, parallel lines never cross or meet. They are the same distance apart, and they would not form any angles. Okay, so take a second to pause this video and determine which lines you think would be parallel with each other. Okay, so hopefully you found that A and C, these lines are parallel with each other, and then B and D. So I'm going to go ahead and write those on this line here. Okay, so again, A and C are parallel to each other. They will never cross. They do not form any angles, and they're the same distance apart. And then same with B and D. Okay? All right, so number 2, 3, and 4, they are going to be asking you questions about different lines, and you're going to determine if they are intersecting, perpendicular, or parallel. This is a good spot where if you need to rewatch the first page or if you need to flip back to the first page to help you out, that would be a good idea. Okay, so they're saying look at the green side. So for number 2, we are looking at this side here and this side here. If we notice, these 2 lines here do not cross or meet, and they are the same distance apart. These lines will not form any angles, so it would be parallel. So I would write parallel here on the lines. I'm going to make my font a little smaller here. My box line, and this would be parallel. Okay. All right, number 3, we are checking out this line here and this line. If you notice, these lines intersect or they cross or meet each other. So therefore, they would be intersecting lines. Now, the difference between intersecting and perpendicular is at right angle. If you notice, this would not form a right angle. So this would just be intersecting. So I would write intersecting on the line. Okay. All right, and then number 4, last but not least, we have this green line here and this line. If you notice, they meet, so they are not parallel. They do intersect with each other, so it could be intersecting lines, which means that they would cross or meet each other. But if we notice, it also forms a right angle here in this corner. So these lines where they meet also forms a right angle, so they would be both intersecting and perpendicular. So I would have 2 ways to describe the sides of this polygon. So intersecting and perpendicular. Okay. All right, same thing with 5, 6, and 7. You are going to, or I'd like you to take a little time and pause this video and see if you can do number 5, 6, and 7 together. Remember, oftentimes if they are perpendicular or if they are perpendicular, they are intersecting as well. So just a little heads up as you go through. So go ahead and pause the video and see if you can come up with 5, 6, and 7, and then we'll check together. Okay, so for this polygon, the 2 green lines would be parallel. Again, they do not meet or cross, form a right angle or any angle, and they have the same distance apart. Number 6, these 2 lines of this polygon, they intersect, which means that they cross, and they also form a right angle, so they would be both intersecting and perpendicular. For number 7, this polygon, these 2 green lines, they would cross or meet, and they are intersecting. They do not form any right angles, therefore they are not perpendicular, just intersecting. Okay? All right, so for lesson 12.4, again, it is one of those lessons where it's very beneficial to use your vocabulary page. So that very first page as you're going through your assignment will help you tremendously. As always, if things are crossed off, it means that you do not have to do them. If you are looking for extra practice or if you're needing extra help, you can always check out Khan Academy, and you may always rewatch these videos. All right, you have a good day. That is lesson 12.4.